Kia ora. I'm coming to you to share another Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file design team layout, and the file I'm using here is the Gamer cut file, which is one that came out a couple of months ago, and I loved it at the time but never quite got the chance to use it. I'm going to use it to document the Xbox that my son was very happy to help me give my husband for Father's Day, and I've already gone ahead and backed it with a few different scraps of paper that I had, and the photo that I've used is printed on the selfie square, and so this was just a new printer that I was trialing, and I really like how it works. It's kind of got the simplicity of the likes of the Instax printers, but it actually prints a proper print with this with the sublimation printing, I think it's called. So it's got 3 different colour layers that prints it out, and then it prints a protective layer on top, so they're meant to last like 100 years or something. And I just liked the portability and simplicity of it. And so I just wanted to try one out here, and I printed 4 photos on the one square, so it's got lots of flexibility. Anyway, the 4 photos are of my husband playing games on different days. My son moved away from home not long after we got the Xbox, and it's meant that my husband's been able to play it, not just Ethan, which has been interesting. And way back when we first got like PlayStations and Xboxes, and even way back when we first got a PC, when we were newly married, he used to enjoy playing Tomb Raider with friends, and they'd sit and try and work through all the problems and get through to the end. So it's been quite almost like going back in time, seeing these games being played. I'm using a few different close to my heart collections here. Some of them are more recent than others, but I just really enjoyed mixing up the different papers and the different collections with this Gamer cut file, and to document this Father's Day present. So I've chosen the sort of the orangey backgrounds around the photo because there's a bit of orange or yellow, so that nice warm yellow in the photos, and that tied it together. And I just really liked how this sort of I've forgotten the name of the V-shaped designs there on the zip strip has that yellow in it as well, and it just brings another connection point across. So I'm just adhering the strip across the layout. It's a really simple layout design, but when you've got gorgeous cut files like the Gamer cut file, you don't actually need too much else going on in there. I do add a few embellishments and things a bit later on that adds to the effect. Anyway, doing my general roughing up of the edges, which I think I first saw Melissa Vining do. I'm not sure whether it was here when she lived closer and was scrapbooking with me, or whether I watched her doing this on some of her process videos. Anyway, I just love the texture and the way it lifts it off the page a little bit without having too much bulk. I'm just cutting out some foam backing here just to lift the cut file off the page, so that it just sort of stands out a little bit rather than being sunk into the background. And it just also lifts it so that those ruffles on the paper don't sort of ruin the layering of it. It sort of ties in quite nicely in there. So I am going to rough up the edges along here and add a few other bits and pieces, including the title and things like that. I wasn't sure whether to stamp the title or cut a title out on the Cricut, or how I was quite going to do that, but I did enjoy pulling out the letters I use a little bit later on. On the background paper that I've used and the paper that I've used on the Gamer one had some stickers there, and that included the play, and that's in a nice rose gold. So I've tucked in nicely beside the cut pile there. So now I've pulled out some wood stars and also some acrylic stars, and I did wonder about making the wooden stars yellow using some Distress Oxide, but I decided I quite liked pulling out some of that natural look, and it still stood out a little bit from that background. So I just chose 3 of each different design, and here's the white acrylic letters that Close to My Heart have come out with that I'm just going to go through and choose the letters for my title. And I do most of this off screen because you didn't really need to see me sorting all of those out. And I am just going to sort of work out where I'm going to position these, and then I use some liquid glass to stick each of them down as well as each of those stars. So this liquid glass works really well with this wee applicator. It just comes out in nice fine drops, and while I do try lots of other different kinds of glues, I do end up going back to this one because it just seems to have the stability as well as when it's working and flowing beautifully, it goes on easily with that fine tip applicator as well. So the journaling I'm writing here is pretty much what I shared with you at the start of the video, the reason why I'm documenting this photo, I guess. And I just tied it in there. I wondered about using a picture my life card or something for it, but just felt it was journaling that could go straight onto the page. And it did seem to go on for quite a while, and I probably should have done some of that off screen as well. So now I'm going to stick down the stars, choosing some places where I think it adds a bit of a balance. And while I'm putting these down, I'm actually thinking about the triangle, the design triangle that you kind of create when wanting to create points of interest. So very clear wee triangle with those wooden stars. And I do very similar with the little white acrylic stars too, and I really love how they work there. And I noticed that the wooden one slips down a bit, so I do re-stick that soon. So I grabbed some silver gems, and I'm just putting them at different points around it as well. It just seems to tie in with the galaxy kind of background paper and the different worlds that you can go to when you're playing some of these Xbox games, and the graphics and things are just so much better than when we first had these games going on in our home just after we got married, which was a good 22 to almost 23 years ago now, I think. Just some closer up shots of the layout and it's been completed, and some of this gorgeous gamer cut file. So head over to the Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file store on Etsy and grab this gamer cut file as well as heaps of others. And as a design team member, I get a bit of a sneak at what's coming up, and there's some really amazing things coming out soon. So keep an eye on that and join the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group if you haven't already. Hey, thanks heaps for watching.